Hey guys, it's day 22 of load, and today I'm going to scrapbook about Fiji water. It is one of the only bottled waters that I drink, and I actually just finished the bottle. Here it is right here. So I laid the bottle down on my desk and I took a picture of it so that I could scrapbook about it. And just public service announcement, I make sure all the bottles get put in the recycling. You can't get a water service with Fiji water around where I live, or I don't even know if you can anywhere. I know they have Deer Park and Poland Springs here, but not Fiji. And this is my favorite bottled water. And so they all go in the recycle bin because I know it's not the most politically correct thing to drink bottled water, but so that's the disclaimer. I drink bottled water. I'm guilty. But I do make sure they all get in the recycle bin. Even when I travel, I make sure they get in the recycle bin. So, anyway. So, I have the Studio Calico kit down on the floor behind me for February, and you guys already know what's in there and what it looks like. But I did pull these enamel dots out of the kit. The glare is getting worse. I just don't know what to do about this. Well, that's even worse. Good Lord. I don't know. We'll figure this glare issue out at some point. But here are the enamel dots from that kit. And I like this, the green and the blue. And there's some pink in there too. Because if you look at the bottle, I know this is a dark royal blue. But I'm going to go with a softer blue and the green. And then add little splashes of pink, I think. So I pulled those enamel dots. I pulled these Amy Tangerine thickers. I have these two pieces. This is just a sheet of pattern paper that came out of a stack, and I'm not sure who made it. I think it was DCWV, probably, Design Cuts with a View. Because when I first started scrapbooking, I used to pull them all out of their stacks. And so I had this just sitting in my blue slot in my paper holder. And so I pulled that out. And then this is... it's actually something I'm probably not going to use. I really liked the texture on this, and I don't know if you can see the texture on that. I don't know if it'll focus on that texture. But it's a textured cardstock, and it's not like your linen textured. It's got this more rippled, natural kind of effect, and I thought that might be a cool thing to have with talking about water. So I pulled it. I'm not sure I'm going to use it yet. I have the Studio Calico kit. I have these little, what are these called? Teardrop gems. So they just, you know, they look like little drops of water to me. So I thought I could use up some of them. I don't even know how many are in there, but... And then I've had this thing, and I can't even tell you where I got this. Let me put it on the book so you guys can see. I don't even know where I got that, but I'm determined I'm going to use it for this layout. And then I pulled my scraps of yellow, blue, and green ribbon. So I pulled the scraps. This is how I keep my scraps of ribbon. I just shove them all down in there. So blue and green go together. Or they go together in here. So, see if I can use some of that up. And that's basically it. So that's where we're going to start. And we'll see where we go from there. Thank you guys for watching. Hey guys, so I'm going to start this video by looking through the Studio Calico kit to see if there was any papers in it that I wanted to use with this layout. And it ends up that I don't end up... It turns out that I don't use anything from the Studio Calico kit for this layout, even though I thought I would use that yellow and green kind of paper. I might have used one tag from the Studio Calico kit, but not a whole lot. And it actually turns out that I don't use quite a bit of anything that I pulled out for this layout. The first thing I'm doing is cutting the photo down. Unfortunately, it's not the greatest quality photo. I probably shouldn't have taken the photo on a white desk, but... Oh, you're gonna see me. I keep messing with those glass. I have a glass plate or a piece of glass that covers my craft desk so that if I spray or something like that, it's not going to get all messy. And I put the glass canister in that glass tray that has those miscellaneous embellishments down on that glass tabletop, and it's driving me bonkers because every time I shake the table, it's making some horrid clacking, like clanging noise. It's making me nuts. So you'll see me keep messing with that. I think that I actually do use that piece of paper, but in the very end, I'm looking at the layout now. I actually have the layout while I'm narrating. That turns out to be a pretty good idea. I think that I used that piece of paper, but it is completely covered when you look at the final layout. So it's kind of a waste to actually use that paper there. But oh well, you don't know how those things are going to work until you get it done. And that light blue paper, I'm going through scraps now. That's what I'm doing. I pulled out my scrap bag and I'm just going through scraps to see if I have anything in there color-wise that I think will work with this layout because I'm not liking the original papers that I pulled. So I just straightened that longer piece up a little bit. I'm gonna mat this photo on this basic gray PB&J paper. You'll keep seeing me move those glass things that are off to the side because that clacking, clanging noise is driving me insane. I'm the type of person that I can't stand like even the rattling. Like if you put the change in the change compartment in the car, I can't stand when that rattles around either. Like it makes me crazy. So I had to I had to seriously get rid of that noise because that it's just like nails on a chalkboard. So I'm just laying out my papers, trying to figure out what I like. I don't know who made that floral paper. It was just in my scraps. And I think on my I don't do such a like I keep track of like the manufacturers for all of my like 12 by 12 papers and things, but once they get stuck in the scrap bin, I don't really unless they still have the branding strip on them, I don't really keep track of what they are. So I did use a piece of that. I think it's Tim and Beck paper from the Studio Calico kit, but unfortunately, when you see this final layout, it mostly is all covered up. So it's just the way it goes. And then that diamond kind of pattern paper on the back is my mind's eye, but I don't know. I don't know which collection it is. I know from the texture of the cardstock that it's my mind's eye, but I don't know. Um, I don't know what collection it's from because again, it was in the scraps. So. Now I'm laying, like I said in the intro, I've had these, I don't even know what you would call them, this little embellishment thing here. I've had it forever. I don't remember where I bought it. I don't know, but it has been hanging around for a long time, and I can't tell you how happy I am that it is finally out of the stash and onto a layout. And it had to me sort of like a watery kind of feel to it, so I thought that it matched the theme of this layout pretty well. So. And even if it didn't or it doesn't, I'm happy that it's now out of the stash. I need to do a serious purge, I think. It's like, I mean, I'm not really a pack rat like in other areas of my life. I tend to keep, I'm not a hoarder by any stretch of the imagination. Let's get rid of that. We don't need it anymore. But I don't know what it is about scrapbooking supplies. I'm like, oh, but I might use that tomorrow. And so whatever. I mean, I know rationally that I will find something else. If I got rid of that particular thing, I would find something else. But anyway, it's just still that sort of. It's kind of like clothes. I'm kind of like that with clothes too. I'm like, but I don't wear that, but I could wear it tomorrow. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm using some circle punches here to. I don't like how that embellishment, that sort of I don't even know what you would call that. That splash. That's what I'm going to call it. The splash embellishment there. I didn't like how it ended. Like it just kind of stopped. I should have probably put it closer to the picture and layered it behind like the papers, like I did with the one in the upper left-hand corner. But the one in the lower right, I didn't do that. So I needed to add something that would cover the harsh edges of that embellishment. So I am using a bunch of these different size punches to just make some punch elements, some circle elements there to add to the bottom to make it to just ground it a little bit and not make it look like, it's just hanging out there. So that was my thought process behind it. And now I'm just deciding what side of those punch circles I think look best. So I'm gonna fuss around with this for a while. And it's the same. I mean, I don't know. It's like the same thing always. I have 13 circle punches maybe. Um, but when it's never the right one. And I could have gone over to the Cameo and cut it the way I wanted it because I wanted a scallop circle, and so I couldn't like use my Martha Stewart cutter or anything like that. But I could have definitely gone over and used the Cameo. But sometimes I just get lazy, and I really this layout was made really late at night. I remember feeling like, oh, I just need a break, but I wanted to get this done. So that is one of the my mind's eye. I think it's my mind's eye washi tape collections, paper tape collections. Yeah, it's my mind's eye. So I just pulled one of them out that I thought would work before I adhered other things down, so I was quite proud, except for up there. Oops. Oh well. What are you gonna do? And then I couldn't get it straight, and then I put it on there and you can barely even see it, but you know. Then I'm going to use these little red, and that was part of the reason why I pulled that floral paper. The floral paper has like reds and oranges in it, and that was part of the reason why I felt it was necessary to use it. Well, not necessary, but why I used it and why I chose it was because I knew I wanted to use those red translucent, like, I don't know. They're almost like enamel dots, but they're translucent, those red things. And then I thought I might use that floral clip, but the green color didn't match at all, so I didn't use that. And then here I'm going to see about layering some of those labels. And here I'm going to think a while, and then I'm like, yeah, I think I'm going to use those. I'm going to use those letter stickers. And I actually get to use a Q here, which I am thrilled about. Here I'm writing it out. You guys know if I'm spelling something backwards, I need to write it out or else I'll spell it wrong. So I'm going to make the title be Quench Your Thirst. And I'm going to lay it all out, and then I'm going to have to pick these letters up several times. Because as you can see, and this wasn't even me worrying about it because, of a video that Shamel did on negative space. I'm really creating trapped space here, and it's when I get the quench down, I'm like, oh my heavens, I don't really like below that Y, where the Y and the T are. I didn't like how that was sitting once the quench goes up there, the word quenched or quench. So I didn't like it, so I'm going to pull up. See, I've realized that even before I get the Q down. Add a little bit more washi tape, and so that the top letters there don't look like they're floating, but then I'm going to realize that I don't like how that space is underneath that title. It's funny because when I was working on the layout, it was really bothering me, right? But looking at it now, I could have left it there. It's no big deal. Here is some zipper ribbon that I got in a Scrapping from the Inside Out kit. I don't know how long ago. But I never was able. They made flowers with it, like they made these like rosette flowers with it on the message board for that kit, which I thought was great. But I was never able to figure out how to make them. So this has just been sitting in my stash for a long time. I have it in this baby blue, and I have it in orange too. And this was the first opportunity I had to really that I thought that it actually matched the layout and that it actually added something. So I was going to use that Tombow Mono Multi Glue to put this down, but I didn't think it would be a strong enough adhesive to hold that metal. So I just added glossy accents to the metal part, and I'm going to add this in 2 places. And I'm using wire cutters to cut through that zipper. Stu was actually in the room when I was trying to cut this. I was like, how am I going to cut this? He's like, you have wire cutters? Oh yeah, thanks. I have wire cutters. So just globbing some glossy accents on there, and then trying not to get it on my fingers, because every time I get glossy accents on my fingers, it peels my skin off. I don't know if I'm allergic to it or it's just such a strong adhesive. I'm not really sure, but every time I get it on my fingers, it pulls my skin off. How's that for instructional video? So here's where I decide that that space inside there is going to drive me insane. So I'm going to pull these letter stickers up. And I'm going to add a tag there from October afternoon. And I'm going to add this arrow. And I'm going to do whatever I can to fill in this space. Yeah, let's not put the Y one upside down. I'm just trying all different kinds of things here. I'm like, no, that arrow doesn't work. Yep. Gonna pull it all back up because I don't think that label's big enough. And then that label that I did stick down there, I couldn't get it back up, so I just left it underneath this bigger one. Only you and I'll know. Now I'm gonna add some more of these red, I don't know what you call them things. I'm going to put some foam adhesive behind the arrow to pull that up off the page a little bit and give it a little bit of dimension. And now I'm like, yeah, it's still not good. And I'm off looking for letter alphabets right now. I'm off looking for alpha stamps. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where yep, there we go. Getting the alpha stamps. And I'm just gonna waste that little label on that that October afternoon label sticker sheet because I wanted to make sure that the ink that I was using, I do not have a blue, like a light blue StazOn ink, so I wanted to make sure that that ink that I was going to use would not smear on this label sticker. So I just stamped it on one of those label stickers that I didn't think that I would use so that I could test and make sure that it wouldn't smear. And then I'm going to use this ink and just spell out my favorite here. And I drew a line there so I could kind of make this straight, but then I realized that, yep, gonna have to pull that T up again because it was too big. Oh, there's something to be said about planning. I just don't know what it is that you could say about it. Then I wanted to use these dewdrops, but they didn't work, so. Adding these little bit of buttons. These buttons were just in my stash. The two that I used here were just in that decor drawer that I keep all this miscellaneous stuff in. So I pulled those out and then thought that maybe I needed a third button. So there's my blue button drawer. And I'm going to look through and see if I'll find it. And I go through several different buttons and I just use the one that I started with to begin with. So. Don't they always say your first, your first thought is the best one? Yeah. Could have saved myself some time and not looked at 30 other buttons before deciding to use the one that I pulled out the first time. But anyway, that's the way it goes, you know. Now I'm going to do my journaling and talk about the fact that I'm not sure when I started my love of Fiji water, but it is one of the few bottled waters I will drink now. Typically when I'm home, I will, we have filtered water through our fridge, and typically when I'm home I'll drink that. But when I'm on the road, I won't fill up a water bottle from a public water fountain because I'm a bit of a germaphobe. And so I always buy Fiji on the road. And then I'm looking through my roller date stamps to see which one I like. And I'm going to stamp the date along with I love this. I heart this on that smash stamp with the date, and I'm using the date I made the layout on this particular one. Typically when I'm making a layout, I date it the date that the pictures were taken. And for this particular layout, it was one and the same. I created the layout the same day I took that picture. And then here's a look at the final layout. So you can barely see the date up there, but it is there. And that's it. So if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. Otherwise, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.